You ready to get started?
Yeah, okay,
sweet. Cool. Alright. Ooh, thank you, Cameron. Okay, do you want to help me start it this time? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Yay! I'm so happy to be with you guys today.
You actually did it this time.
Alright, you guys ready? I see this table is ready. You guys are ready. Hey, everybody's ready. Sweet. It's nice to have such a small little group. I love it. It's more homey. But today's going to be fun. We're going to do a little bit of book club with the book and learn more about how we can detect change in our character. But yeah, we'll go ahead and move to the next slide. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So good.
That looks
Sweet. Okay, so before we get into it, hey guys, before we get into it, can you open up your notebook? And I'm going to give you like 3 minutes to just go through these questions in your notebook. And if you don't get to all of them, that's a-okay. Just do what you can. But this is just kind of to remember what's been happening in the book so far. So yeah, just go through these 4 questions on your own in your notebook for about 3 minutes, and then we'll move on. Okay? Sweet. Ready, set, go. And these will not be graded or anything. It's just to help you remember.
So anything that describes Cole?
Yeah, so the first question is, what adjectives would you use to describe Cole?
Write down the question.
So just like, you don't have to, but just write down your answers. So like, anything you can think of that just comes to your head without looking at your book, how would you describe Cole? And you can talk with your neighbors if you want to hash it out.
Not smart. Dad loves to go get the milk. And stupid. Oh, no. Wait, that's not dad usually makes you laugh. That's not.
Oh.
That's not dad.
That's insane.
Dad loves to go get the milk.
What else would you say?
What does that mean?
I said stupid, dumb, not smart.
Anything?
No.
A bully.
What about how he treats other people?
Bully.
Okay. What do you guys have over here?
I don't know who that is.
Me?
Oh, yeah, I would say so.
Me. I would be scared of him.
And mad.
He goes.
Sorry?
Mad.
Mad. Yeah, that's a good one.
Smart. Intelligent.
What did you guys come up with? Engage.
And chill guy.
Yeah, sorry.
Dad's gonna crash out and be like,
Alright.
and his mom will be like,
Have you guys gotten to question 3 yet? Yeah? Okay, get to question 3 real quick. You can skip question 2.
has Cole changed throughout the book class?
How has Cole changed throughout the book?
Oh, how?
He's progressive.
Okay, we'll come back together in about 10 seconds. So finish your thoughts. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, by raise of hands, can anyone tell me some adjectives that they would use to describe Cole? Yeah, you're
Stupid, dumb, not smart, and a bully.
Yes, I agree with all those things. Anyone? Yes, Slade?
Abused.
Abused?
Yeah.
Yeah. that's true. There's some deeper things there. Yeah, over here.
Unhygienic.
Unhygienic? That's actually fair. Yeah, thank you. Okay, what about Garvey? What adjectives would you use to describe Garvey? Do you guys remember Garvey? Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah, he is chill. I like it. Anyone else? Yeah?
He's smart.
Yeah. He knows how to handle people for sure. That's really good. Thanks, guys. Okay, any other thoughts about Garvey? No? Okay, has Cole changed throughout the book? The big question. Everybody's nodding their head yes.
Yeah.
How has he changed? What do you think?
He appreciates the wildlife more.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you know that he appreciates the wildlife more?
Because he's like wondering if the baby birds were okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was completely out of character for him to worry about some baby birds, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool to see him change in that way. Yeah.
He kind of started like taking wildlife to his life, like understanding things happen other than around his life. Like
Mm-hmm.
he had like his parents were actually not caring about him, but like the bird's parents or the bird's mom was looking for them and was like, I wish I had a mom like that. Like,
Yeah.
that actually cared.
Did that part break your heart a little bit? That part broke my heart a little bit. And I really loved when he was like laying and looking at the stars and he was like, oh wait, I've never noticed the world is actually like beautiful. That was pretty cool. Sweet. Do you guys have any predictions about what will happen next?
Slade does.
Slade, what's your prediction?
He's gonna see his dad at the hospital, and he's gonna,
What are you doing here? You don't care about me.
Ooh, okay. I like the prediction.
Watch it be fine.
We'll see what happens. Okay, sweet. Thank you guys for working so hard on that. We can move to the next slide. Okay, so today in our book club, we will. Can you read this for me? Who wants to read it for me? Really loud. Yeah.
I can analyze Cole's story and relate it to my own experiences.
Perfect. Yeah, we're going to learn about how his story can help us in our story. And then, can I have two people read these questions? Let's see. How about over here? Yeah, thanks. Read that one.
How can I understand the process of change from Cole's experience?
Awesome. And I'll read the last one. How can understanding Cole help me understand myself and people in real life? So I hope that when you leave the book club today, you will understand Cole a little bit more, how he's changed, and how you can help other people and yourself. Sound good? Sweet. Okay, we can move on. Okay, so before we get started, I want you to turn to a partner and tell them about a time that you've witnessed change, maybe in yourself or in somebody else, and how you knew that the change was taking place. So, how have you changed or someone you knew? Go ahead and talk to your partner about that. Do you have any ideas?
Nope.
It's a good question. It can be something small too, like, is there like a sport you like to play or a hobby you like? What's your favorite sport to play? Football? What's like a change you can make in football?
That I have done much better at it.
Yeah. Is there something specific that you've done to become better at
actually
it?
took like
Maybe you like
I can
magnesium and then do
I
like
can throw better and forward and stuff.
How did you like learn how to do that?
Just practice.
Practice.
Yeah.
So you like changed the way you practiced and then it changed.
And then
what you did.
and then
You had to think about it before you did it, right?
and no one figured it out.
Okay, let's come back together. Does anyone want to share what their partner said or something that they said? I really, really liked what you said. Do you think you could share?
I forgot.
That's okay.
Something about football.
Yeah, he was saying that. Yeah, go ahead.
And that I like practice throwing and can throw farther now, and I can catch better than I used to.
Yeah,
And
that's great. Thank you. He changed the way that he thought about football and the kind of practice that he did, and then it made him better at throwing and catching. So it can be something small, but it started in his mind, and then he did it with action. Cool. Yeah.
Slade took Advil. He felt better.
And he felt better. I like it. It does help. Awesome. Okay, thank you guys. I love it. So change in people, I just wanted to make an analogy real quick, is a lot like change in the seasons. When summer turns to fall, we start to notice, right? How do we start to notice? The leaves, yeah, the leaves start to change, they start to fall. Something that helps me, I see Halloween candy in Walmart and I'm like, oh, I think it's fall. I start to pull out my sweaters. So yeah, we can start to see the seasons change with like little hints, right? And the same is with people. They start to change a little bit in maybe the way that they act or the way that they speak or the way that they talk. And we're like, hey, I think they're starting to change a little bit in this aspect. So, yeah. So today we're gonna kind of notice the change in Cole. Okay, we can move to the next slide. And then the next one as well. Thanks. Okay, I'm gonna pass out some little note catchers to you guys. Can I have a helper pass out? Thank you so much. I'll take the left side of the room. Yes, they're delicious. I love me some granola bars. Okay. All right. So you guys can all see this little note page. Go ahead and hold it up for me. Hold up your note page. Thank you. Hey, girls, can you hold this up? Thanks. Okay, cool. All right. And then you can go ahead and look at it. So we're going to talk about the hints of character change. So just like with the leaves, you see the leaves starting to change. We're going to look at some little hints that can help us know that a character is changing. So we're going to go over an acronym today called STEAL, or STEAL. Yeah, I know. But it's actually good. It's like they're stealing good new character traits. But, okay, can everyone quiet down, please? Thank you. All right, so we're going to go through each letter, and I need you guys to write down what the letter stands for, and then an example once we talk about it, whether it's an example from class or the book or your own life. But you'll write down the word that the letter stands for, and then an example. So give me a thumbs up when you're ready to begin. Yay! Okay, we can start with this one. So S stands for speech. Go ahead and write speech down under S. Okay, perfect. So all of these are pretty self-explanatory. A change in speech is a person saying something different than they normally would, saying something new. So some examples could be somebody that's like typically really ungrateful, starting to thank others more often. And you start to notice, what? They're thanking me. They never do that. Or maybe a typically calm person losing their patience more often and shouting at others. And you're thinking, what is going on? Why are they shouting at others? They never do that. Another example could be maybe you have a swearing problem. You decide,
Slade.
I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, we don't need to point anyone out. And you decide, I'm not going to do this anymore. It doesn't make me feel good. And then you start saying kinder words. That would be a change in speech. Awesome. So, can someone give me an example, maybe from this table over here? Can you give me an example of how Cole has changed the way that he speaks?
Oh, books. Like rude and stuff.
Yeah.
Thinking stuff for no reason. And mom probably has a different perspective of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Thank you. Okay. All right. So before we move on, S is for speech. Thank you, guys. Okay, we can move on to the next one. Okay. T is for thoughts. Yeah. So again, this one's pretty self-explanatory. this is when you start to notice someone's thoughts changing. And we can't read each other's minds, but in a book, it's really easy because they just write all of their thoughts out. So you can start to see that a perspective is shifting, or they're thinking about something in a new way. So some examples of this could be, maybe you come to school on the first day and you're like, I hate my teacher. They're so I don't know if it's gonna work out. And then you keep going to class and you keep learning more about them and you decide that you really respect them and you even admire them in the way that they teach. Or maybe you think that you have no friends and you're alone until you realize that there's actually people that look out for you, and then your thought changes and you feel like, yeah, I have friends, I'm happy. So those are some examples of thoughts changing. Or one for me, I used to think I was really bad at math. And then I kept trying, I felt like, oh wait, actually this makes sense. I'm kind of good at math. So how have you guys noticed Cole's thoughts shifting a little bit? I think the baby birds was a great example. He started to care for the baby birds and the nature around him. And he didn't even really notice that he was doing that. So that's pretty cool. Okay, everyone got it? Nice. All right, before we move on, T is for? Thoughts. Thank you. Okay, we can move on. Okay, this one is E, which stands for affect. E stands for? Affect. Yeah. And you can add this, effect on others and environment around. So they're kind of two types of effect. When you're done writing that, let me know just by raising your pencil in the air so that no one feels left behind. Perfect. Okay, cool. So effect on others, this is basically how your change is influencing other people. So for example, let's say that you're really bad at cleaning your room and you realize, you know what, I want to clean my room more. Maybe I'd be happier. And then you start cleaning your room and all of a sudden your mom is like so at peace and your relationship with your mom is better. Because you made that choice, your mom is like, wow, the house is so clean and I feel better. And so that is how your change could affect someone else. Okay, and then, all right, I'll move on when everyone's ready. And then effect on the environment, this would be like a change that you make influencing what's around you. So an example would be if you take in a stray cat, and now it's becoming healthy and strong. Or if you decide to plant a bunch of trees, and now the environment is a little bit happier and a little bit healthier. So this is how E stands for effect on the environment and others. Okay, before we move on, E is for? Effect. Perfect. Do you guys have any questions with that one? I know it's a little trickier than the other ones. You good? Okay. All right, this one's super easy. A stands for? Actions. Perfect. So basically it's just you changing your immediate choices and actions. So some examples. You start getting up early to be more productive. You change your sleep schedule. Or you start treating your enemies with kindness. It's just a choice you make to change. What are some examples of Cole changing his actions? We're going to learn about more today, so It's okay if you can't think of any. Cool. Alright, A is for actions. Sweet. We move to the next one. Okay. And last, but certainly not least, L is for looks. Yeah. Have you guys ever like started changing like the clothes you wear or how you dress? How does it feel when you like change the way that you look?
Like better.
Yeah.
Put together.
Yeah, you feel more confident. That's something I always notice. You feel more like ready to jump into a situation. So yeah, this is when you change how you look. And it can be a choice, and it can also be something that you don't choose. So I'll give you an example of choosing first. Just like we said, you get a new wardrobe. You start wearing new clothes, and it kind of gives off a new vibe, right? And you chose to wear new clothes or to do your hair differently to give off that new vibe. An example of not choosing could be Cole, for example, in the woods when the bear attacks him. He didn't choose that, right? And now he's got broken bones and he looks all mangled.
And he's probably going to be disabled for a long time.
Yeah, we'll see. But that change in looks he didn't choose, but it's affecting him. And it might affect the way that he acts as well. Make sense? Cool. All right, go ahead and write down looks and an example of looks. And make sure you write down that you can choose it or it can just happen to you. And when you're done, put your pencil in the air. Yes, I love how high you put it up. It's like a wand. Awesome. Cool. All right, we all good? Sweet. Now, as you probably guessed, we're gonna put our new knowledge into action. Drum roll, please. Okay, I don't know why I did that, I just like drum rolls. But let's turn to chapter 13 in the book. Let's see, what page is that on? Yeah. Okay, chapter 13 is on 103. Turn to page 103. Thank you so much. Okay, and you're going to want to keep your notes out, your steel notes. Keep them next to you while you read, where you can see them. All right, when you guys are ready, go ahead and put your book in the air. Sweet. So as we're reading, of course, like usual, follow along, but also in the back of your head, I want you to think about steel. Think about the specific ways that coal is starting to change and how they might connect to the acronym we just learned. Got it? Okay, cool. Sweet. So I will start reading. I'm going to get a drink of water so that I don't get all croaky while I read. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. A short, squat man poked his head inside Cole's room. Ketchikan can't send me a medevac plane until morning, he called out. It's getting dark, and weather has set in. The nurse felt Cole's forehead. Looks like you'll be spending the night at Rosie's one-star hotel. Edwin nodded at Cole. If you haven't guessed, this is Rosie. A rare smile creases his lips. She's the best nurse in Drick. The only nurse, Rosie added. If you live through Rosie, Edwin said, you'll live through anything. Cole shuddered with another spasm of chills as Rosie gave Edwin a light shove. You and Garvey go make yourselves useful, she said. Get another blanket. Garvey handed Rosie the Adao blanket off a chair beside the bed. Here, we brought this from the island. It's damp, she said. Grab a fresh one from the closet. When Cole spotted the colorful blanket beside him, he felt a sudden warmth. He reached out and grabbed its edge. Garvey studied Cole, letting him clutch the wet awal as Edwin brought another blanket. He squeezed Cole's shoulder. "We'll talk more later. Get some rest now." "I'm not going anywhere," Garvey reassured him. "Rosie and I will be here all night with you." "Thanks," Cole whispered. Rosie pushed in beside the bed. "This might sting a little." She poked a needle into Cole's left arm. "I'm starting an IV drip to get some fluids and antibiotics into you." Finishing, she tilted Cole's head up and put some pills gently inside his mouth. "Now take these tablets. They should help the pain." Cole sipped water from the glass she held to his lips and struggled to swallow the pills. When they finally went down, Rosie began working on Cole's wounds. The door opened and another Tlingit woman brought in a thermos of hot soup and set it next to the bed. Rosie turned to Garvey. "Maybe you can get some food into this guy." Edwin remained standing along the wall, watching intently as Garvey placed a big pillow under Cole's head and ladled spoonfuls of chicken broth between his cracked lips. Cole's pain dulled as the medication took effect. Sipping soup, he watched Rosie. She worked cheerfully, as if there was nothing in the world she would rather be doing. When she left the room for more dressings, Garvey turned to Cole. "The bear used you for a chew toy." He pursed his lips with concern. "I'm sorry for getting you into this." Cole had many things he wanted to explain, but he was too weak and tired now. He shook his head. "My fault," he whispered. Garvey glanced at Edwin, who kept his focused gaze. Rosie returned to the bed, her hands filled with rolls of gauze and a brown plastic bottle. Garvey moved away from the bed to give her room. "You get some rest while Rosie finishes patching you up," he said to Cole. "Can't do much patching," Rosie said. "He has broken bones. I wish we had him in a hospital tonight." Cole closed his eyes while Rosie cleaned and bandaged his open wounds. The medicine made him sleepy. Finishing her work, Rosie whispered to Garvey, "That bear has quite a time with him. He has broken ribs and maybe a broken pelvis. And to that hypothermia and a broken leg and arm. I'm surprised he's even talking. Must be a tough kid." "Not as tough as he thinks," Garvey whispered back. Edwin murmured, "He'll be okay if he ever finds a reason to live." Cole heard everyone's words as he drifted off. He slept troubled, dreaming of people he knew coming toward him out of a misty haze. Each person helped him. Garvey fed him. Rosie fixed his wounds. His father gave him money. Edwin offered him advice. His mother cleaned him and handed him new clothes. Cole liked being helped. He liked using people. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck, and all the people turned into monsters. Everything they had done for Cole faded, and they laughed at him. "You fool," they called. "Why should we do anything for you? You're nothing. You're a baby-faced con." Cole awoke in a sweat. It was night. He searched the darkness frantically. He heard regular breaths near him in the dark. "Garvey," he called, realizing he could talk. "Garvey." Garvey's hoarse voice answered. "You okay, Cole?" Cole heard someone getting up to snap the lights on. Garvey, still wearing his rumpled jeans and faded wool shirt, hurried to his bedside. A door opened from the next room, and Rosie rushed in. "What's wrong?" she asked. Cole looked at the two of them, his nightmare still haunting him. "I had a dream," he said, his voice raspy. "People helped me, then they turned into monsters and laughed at me. It was just a dream," Garvey said, resting his hand on Cole's arm. "But you two were there." Rosie took Cole's hand in hers. "Well, I'm not a monster," she smiled. "Maybe Garvey is." Cole didn't smile. "Why do you guys help me?" Rosie looked at her watch. "It sure isn't for the pay and good hours." Then she shrugged. "Why live if you can't help others and make the world a better place?" Cole looked up at Garvey. "Why do you help me?" "Because we're friends." Cole let his frustration show. "No, you didn't even know me when you first started helping me in Minneapolis." Garvey studied Cole before answering. "You're right, I did it for myself." Cole nodded. That's what I figured. You didn't care about me. You're wrong, Garvey said. I did care about you. But helping others is how I help myself. You need help? Cole asked, surprised. Garvey nodded. I see a lot of myself in you. When I was your age, I spent 5 long years in prison for things I'll go to my grave regretting. I lived my early years here in Drake, but no one cared enough to take me through a circle justice. If they had, maybe things would have been different. He shook his head with a sad smile. Take my word for it, jail scars the soul, and I was never able to help those I hurt. Cole, Rosie said, touching his bandaged arms. In a few months your body will heal, but time won't heal your mind as easily. Helping others can help your wounds of the spirit. Still troubled by his dream, Cole said, there are people who want to hurt me. Rosie squeezed Cole's hand. Those are the people who need your help. I'll bet you weren't a bundle of fun when Garvey first met you. Cole shook his head. How was your pain? Rosie asked. I hurt, Cole said. The Tlingit nurse unwrapped a packet and prepared a syringe and needle. Let's give you something to help you sleep. Give me something to take away the monsters, Cole said. Only you can do that, she answered. Cole slept hard, his first real sleep in many days. When he awoke, a small lamp glowed in the dark near his bed. Rosie was already up, working quietly around the room. When she heard him stir, she snapped on the lights and came over beside the bed. Did you sleep well? She asked. Cole nodded. Let's clean your dressings this morning, she said. There's people in Ketchikan think we're witch doctors out here in the sticks. Cole grimaced. The pain had returned with a vengeance. Rosie saw him wince and gave him another shot. Things will hurt first before they're better, she said. Just morning, so you'll know what to expect. Then she added, they really will get better. While Cole waited for the medication to dull the pain, Garvey sat upright on his cot and stretched the keys out of his back. He ran a hand through his tousled hair. How about I get some breakfast, he said. Rosie nodded approval as she hung a fresh IV. Again, she took Cole's temperature and pulse. Then she brought over a paper bag containing his clothes. Here, she said, placing the bag beside the bed. There wasn't much left of your clothes, but I had them washed up anyway to take with you. Cole eyed the colorful towel blanket folded on top of the bed. As Garvey returned with juice and warm oatmeal, Edwin appeared at the door and announced, the plane is in the air, should be landing in about 30 minutes. He turned to Rosie. After Cole eats, let him get down to the dock. I've got help coming. By the time Cole finished eating, 2 boys from the village had arrived to help Garvey and Edwin. The boys, both Cole's age, eyed him curiously as they carried him on a stretcher out to the waiting van. Rosie rode beside Cole in the van, holding his IV bag. When they reached the marina, the boys again helped Garvey and Edwin carry the stretcher to the end of the dock. Rosie hung Cole's IV from a dock post. I'll be right back, she said. I need your medical records from the van. The boys followed Rosie, leaving Edwin and Garvey alone with Cole. Edwin looked out at the horizon, glowing red with early dawn. Tell me what happened out here, he said. I didn't think anybody cared about me anymore, Cole said, struggling to speak. That's why I burned the shelter. Hesitantly, he explained how he had tried to escape the island and how he was mauled trying to kill the spirit bear. I wanted to kill it because it wasn't scared of me, he admitted. As Garvey and Edwin listened, he continued, telling next about the storm. When Cole had finished, Garvey said, you may never have use of that arm again. Life is made up of consequences, and you've sure made some bad choices. Cole nodded. My arm isn't important. Garvey gave Cole a puzzled look. Why do you say that? If I like the cake, Maybe the ingredients are okay too. Cole smiled weakly. A famous parole officer told me that once. Garvey raised an eyebrow. A famous parole officer let you get mauled by a bear. Now you'll end up in a hospital. When you're released, you'll still have your parents to deal with, and you'll be facing a jail term. I doubt the hearing circle will consider returning you to the island after what's happened. You realize all that, don't you? Cole nodded. I do, but it's okay. Whatever happens now, I'm done being mad. Cole shook his head. A person is never done being mad. Anger is a memory never forgotten. You only tame it. He pointed out toward the islands. Tell me more about the spirit bear. The bear was pure white, Cole said. The last time it came, it stood right over me. He spoke in a whisper. I reached up and touched it. Edwin studied Cole. Spirit bears live hundreds of miles south of here, off the coast of British Columbia, not here in these islands. He shook his head. We've hunted here since I was young, and so my parents and their parents. There are no spirit bears around here except maybe in your mind. Cole started to argue, then remembered the handful of white hair he had pulled off the bear. Want to bet? He said, reaching for his pants in the bag beside him. Suddenly he paused. His life had become filled with lies, and the more he lied, the more he always tried to prove he was right. Never had he been strong enough to simply tell the truth. Cole put down the bag. Today things would change. From now on he would speak the truth, even if it meant going to jail. He spoke softly. I don't need to prove anything. I'm telling the truth. Edwin narrowed his eyes at Cole. Then he turned and walked up the dock. Looks like I'm going to Ketchikan with you, Garvey said. I need to go get my things. I'll be right back. As he turned to leave, he winked. Don't go anywhere. Cole watched Garvey leave, finding himself alone. He looked out at the mirrored water. Maybe he had never really seen the spirit bear. He strained his neck to make sure nobody was watching, then reached into the paper bag and pulled out his jeans. Carefully, he poked his hand into the front pocket and wrapped his fingers around something matted and fuzzy. He pulled his hand from the bag and opened his fist. There, in the palm of his hand, was a lot of hair. Cole stared. The hair was white, all white. It's true, he whispered. I wasn't lying. Deliberately, he raised his hand and tossed the hair into the water. Beginning today, he would tell the truth. His words would become his only proof. As loud voices approached the dock and a plane drowned overhead, circling to land, Cole watched the white patch of hair. It floated on the water and the breeze tugged it out away from the dock. The little clump bobbed about, drifting with the tide, then finally blinked from sight. Smiling, Cole rested his head on the stretcher. Edwin had said that anger was a memory never forgotten. That might be true, but the spirit bear was also a memory that would never disappear from his mind. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, raise your hand if you notice some change in Cole during that chapter. Or his two hands. A lot of change. Really good. So, I made a little quiz for you guys to kind of review the change that you saw in Cole. And since we don't have a lot of time, you can go ahead and take it, and I'll let you phone a friend for help if you need. And I'll kind of walk around and help you as well. But refer to your book and also your notes to help you on the quiz. Awesome.
It's in the same place as your other chapter quizzes. I just put in parentheses student teacher